So a bit about myself. Thanks for the opportunity to have a chat over this lunchtime. To all the people that have dialed in, thanks for having a look today. I'm not used to this public speaking. It's not really my thing, but I've got a hope you don't mind. I've got a bit of a PowerPoint that is guiding me. I've got a few facts and figures and whatnot to refer to. So anyway, my name's Daphne Pringle, and I'm an aircraft technician in the Royal New Zealand Air Force. Technician is just a fancy name for mechanic. So I fix airplanes. I've been doing that since I left high school at the age of 18. I only did year 12. To me, back then, high school, 7th form was something to go on to uni, and that was not really what I wanted to do. I just love fixing things. So I found an opportunity to join the Defence Force straight out of school, and I've been here ever since. So that's 30 plus years now. And now I'm part of a program called Schools to Skies. So what we do in this program is we take we've got several facets of the program. We're basically trying to get more kids into STEM trades. So whether it just be RNZAF or industry-wide, New Zealand-wide, I think there's definitely we need to get more kids in that. Whether they go through to uni, they go into other industry, or the Defence Forces, it doesn't matter. We just want to contribute to that outcome. So I'll start off with our Schools to Skies program, which is pretty well known concept now, launched in 2017. This is our brand right here, and we come under the Directorate of People and Culture Portfolio. We're just a small unit within the Air Force, established for 4 personnel, and we're based at Whenuapai in Auckland. So our branding, that's well known as the Schools to Skies, as you can see behind me. And we also have an On the Road brand. It's another part of our program. So because our program spans many age groups, we have a variety of resources we use. Our main resource being the Grumman aircraft and trailer, which is owned by the ATC. So this is a little 2-seater aircraft, it did fly years ago. It's a training aircraft for training pilots, and now it's an asset we drag it all around the country. It's great show and tell. We turn up at schools and playgrounds, and that's the main asset that we own. I'll just hold a picture up so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Sorry for the pictures. That's the little airplane there, which we tow around in the trailer below. You see the tail sticking out. And we just go to our event. The wings get put on once we arrive, and people can hop in and out the aircraft, and actually the controls are all hooked up, and it's a great way for them to put into practice any theory they may have learned and how to fly a little aircraft. We also use it for maintenance for those that want to be technical trades. Other things we have for our program is the item in blue is a wind tunnel that supports the the more theory-based lessons of physics and whatnot, and theory of flight. For littlies, we have jigsaw puzzles, composite gliders, and we also have a hand skills box here, what we call, it's basically just nuts and bolts. We take this to younger children because kids just don't get the opportunity to fix these days, so they can use all the spanners and disassemble it and put it back together again. And that's a great thing for the younger children. So with the aircraft that we own, it actually, the ATC owns, through the Pegasus Trust, we use that asset to take around the schools, and it's really interactive for our program, and it's a great eye catcher wherever we go, and we have an arrangement to use it permanently, which is awesome. Yes, we've got Dixie. We've recently actually bought a second aircraft for the Air Force, which is Dixie. Here you can see her. She's been a labour of love for myself. We're rebuilding her totally, and it's now currently in grey colours, Air Force colours, and this will be our new aircraft to take on the road around the country. So we proudly hope to debut that soon. So I'll talk about firstly our camps, what we do with our camps. They're held annually for Year 13 females. The opportunity is there for 40 young women from all over New Zealand. They're handpicked from hundreds of applications. It's a 1-week residential camp at an operational Air Force base. So that's either Ohakea or Auckland. We are having our next camp in July, school holidays this year. We already have, I think, over 350 applications, and we only have 40 positions, unfortunately. So it's quite a sought-after camp, and it's been very successful to date. The camp itself is 60% STEM and aviation focused, and 40% personnel and professional development. Common question we do get asked with regards to our camp is, when are we going to hold a camp for the boys? We actually have no trouble recruiting males. Are they missing out on this experience? Yes. However, there are many other opportunities for people to seek defence experiences if they wish to prior to joining. So the recruiting team has what they call a Defence Careers Experience, and that's available if you go through their website to be a part of those. The Navy has recently, I think, done 2 now. They've copied our program, our Schools to Skies, running a camp for Year 13 female school leavers. However, theirs is called Schools to Sea, obviously. That's been a great success too. A few years ago, we changed our tact, and we thought, how can we make our reach greater? Like I said earlier, the camp we have for Year 13 females is only 40 positions. We'd love to do more, but it's at this time we can't. So what we did do is thought, let's influence the influencers. So we started a teachers camp, teachers edition. Same thing for the teachers, available to primary and secondary school teachers all around the country, and that's run in the January school holidays. So teachers come to us as part of their professional development, and they stay with us a week. And they can go out all around the country and influence their kids at all those year levels, and they have much bigger reach than what we can. So that's proven to be also very sought after and well worthwhile. We're now seeing students of teachers that have come on camps, and they are realising that it's a pretty good thing to be a part of and a good opportunity, if nothing else, to come along and see what we do. The camp runs exactly like the Years 13 camp, except there's a little bit more on the professional development side for our teachers. And the camp gives them great real-life context in STEM industry to take back to the classroom. So generally we'll take teachers who are teaching STEM subjects.
Stephanie, just before you go on from that, I'm just wondering, is there an opportunity for teachers to to try and put some lessons together about some of the physics of flying and things like that to be able to deliver in their maths and English classes? You know, like, is that a kind of focus of the camp, is trying to help them develop resources, how they can show, you know, what they're learning in the classroom can be related to what they might learn at the Air Force?
Absolutely, yes. So context is everything for both the students and the teachers. Obviously, a primary school teacher will, throughout the week, they get put into groups and they'll develop do a project or whatnot. They'll work in groups, and something they can take back from their learnings with us to the classroom. So whether it be a primary school science project to high school physics, both of them we give them the resources and it's a lot of content, and they can take that back and formulate it as part of their inquiry or whatever they're studying at the moment in school. So it is aviation focused, but they get a good mix of theory and flying and fixing. The students, actually, a lot of the students, year 13 students taking physics, love our NDT. We do an NDT lesson, part of the camp, which is non-destructive testing. So for those kids taking physics, they absolutely love that lesson because it gives them context to what they've been learning in class, and it's relatable to a job within the service in the STEM industry. So that's pretty good. They've enjoyed that one.
Great, thanks.
No worries. Another part of our program we have is called On the Road. It's aimed at year 7 and 8. So we developed that. We take all those assets I showed you earlier and we take them on the road. So we're entirely mobile in the trailer. We take all the aircraft and all the bits and pieces. We have condensed what we do into a one-day version of aviation, STEM-based activities, leadership and personal development, completely tailored to the year 7-8 age group. So we go to selected schools, mainly in the Auckland region, and it's a 5-part program over 5 weeks. So we send them a online pre-learning package, and they do a lot of the theory that we've put together. And then at the end, we visit their school with the Grumman aircraft, which is really, they can see all the what they've been learning towards, and that's a highlight of the program for the kids. We also do, we deliver the same program nationwide on request. You can request us from our website, and we might target a region. So in a few weeks, for example, we're going to Northland. The rural and regions don't get a lot of these opportunities, we've found. So when time and money allows, we hit the road with our program, and we're stopping in Northland at 5 different schools for our year 7 and 8 program, which is pretty exciting. You know, one visit from us can inspire a child. You never know, you know, for 5 years later, we might see them joining the service. So all it can take is one visit, one interaction, and it's really worthwhile. So that's something we're looking forward to in the next few weeks. Another part of our On the Road program, we go to air shows. We support all the air shows around the country. So, for example, we went to Wings Over Wairarapa earlier this year. It's just a perfect engagement with the public of all levels. We set everything up. There's heaps of interactive stuff. We take the little Grumman aircraft and we represent the Air Force as part of the wider industry. So those air shows are fun. Unfortunately, we're not going to make it to Warbirds over Wanaka, but that still will be well supported by Defence in other ways. We also hit the careers expos around the country. There's numerous expos for schools, careers expos that the schools run or their regions run. There are also quite a few STEM expos, like the Tauranga Careers Expo. We go to that annually. And again, it's just about interacting and with the public and having a wide audience explaining what we do. There's nothing like meeting people in person. So that's also great to do. So I want to talk a little bit about why we focus on the females in the program. So a few statistics to back what we're doing. In 2016, the targets for gender was to reach, for the Air Force, was to reach 20% by 2020. Representation was sitting at 17.3, and every initiative being introduced was only increasing this figure by 0.1%. So the founding members of Schools to Skies took matters into their own hands and launched the program, like I said, in 2017. The program was designed to increase diversity, not necessarily be a recruiting tool. So while the organisation has started making headway on our gender targets, with a new target set now at 25% by 25, we're currently sitting at 22.5%, so we're almost there. That alone doesn't paint the whole picture. So we have 5 trades that we're targeting, which we call STEM trades. And across all those trades, we only have 9.4% female representation. So that's a lot lower than our target of 25%. These trades are represented, they represent the largest percentages of our workforce in terms of numbers of people, making up over 40% of our workforce. And very importantly, those that are trade groups are traditionally go on to be our senior leaders of the Air Force. If we're going to make a difference on diversity front across all rank and level groups, it has to be in these trades. And this isn't just an RNZAF problem. We know that STEM across the whole society is not diverse enough. So for example, only 7.4% of pilots at Air New Zealand are females. So when we looked at the applications into STEM trades by gender, 85% of applicants are male for the Air Force. We didn't seem, so yeah, like I said earlier, we don't seem to have a problem attracting males, but why are females not being represented? Very importantly, these statistics also suggest that we are missing entire pockets of talent in our recruitment. Imagine the numbers we could recruit if females were just interested as males. So our focus of the camps is on females. Clearly, there is something that is happening across the whole society that STEM roles are attracting mainly males. So the work needs to be done, just isn't within our organisation, but the community as well. Gender isn't the only diversity issue we're having. When we look at our ethnic statistics, we're even less represented. In New Zealand, 17% of people identify as Māori, yet our organisation only has 6%. Pacifica, 3.1, compared to 8.1 of the New Zealand population. And our Asian stats are 3.8 compared to 15% of the New Zealand population. And of course, in STEM roles, this is even worse. So we have work to do in this area too. And, you know, we say, is lack of diversity an issue? Absolutely. We feel that we need to say that diversity is important, but do we understand why? So there's been thousands of studies out there show the importance of diversity in organisations. However, education probably isn't well spread on this topic, especially if you don't see a problem in the current system, you're less likely to fix what isn't broken. Just a few things that a diverse organisation does. It increases culture of breeds a culture of inclusivity, excuse my pronunciation, enhances problem-solving capabilities, increases flexibility and adaptability, reflects the diversity of society, improves cultural awareness and sensitivity, strengthens relationships with partners and allies, and boosts recruitment and retention. Essentially, diversity makes a stronger, better performing Air Force, both on home soil and in the deployment context. So the short answer is yes, diversity is something we all want and need. So to help us understand how we can start changing the issue, we needed to understand why it exists. So I'll talk about a study that was done by the Tertiary Education Commission. It was a pretty simple context. They got primary and intermediate aged kids to draw what they wanted to be when they grow up. The reason for this age group is that overseas studies have shown that jobs kids are interested in at just the ages of 7 to 13 is reflected in the subjects they go on to choose at secondary school and the jobs they pursue entering the workforce. The study received nearly 8,000 drawings, and most of those drawings were only of 9 different career types. The biggest findings of the study being that even these young ages, there was evidence of unconscious ethnic, gender, and socio-economic bias that often limited young people in their career choices, and that children needed to know or see more in the role to make a valid career choice. So the biggest takeaway from the study is that early intervention is needed to try and negate some of these unconscious bias. The range of careers that children aspire to are narrow, and so role modelling is very important. That with a few other studies, that was the background to targeting year 7 and 8 children, because the studies show that at that age is they will decide a STEM career or not, whether to pursue it. And obviously when they get to high school, they have to make those subject choices to go on. So that provided the framework for our Schools to Skies program. And we're experiential learning, empowerment, and role modelling is what our program's all about. So due to the scale of what we want to achieve, we simply cannot do it without partnering with our industry, other industries. Strong networks ensure our work is not duplicated, nor do we render another organisation's program redundant. Our collaborations maximise exposure to a variety of STEM career pathways. Any student that comes into our combined industry is a measure of success, not just recruiting conversions for the RNZAF. So what's our overall impact? Some of it's hard to gauge. Of course, with our year 7 and 8 program, we won't see the results for up to 5 years, perhaps, if we've captured those kids' attention and they go on to join, whether it be defence or a STEM trade and other industry. But what we have done is we've had over 100,000 Kiwis exposed and 9,000 actively engaged through our various programs. In terms of the camps, we have had, as a whole, we've had 42 ladies join the Air Force directly from our camps, which is sitting at around 14% recruitment, which is pretty good. We're quite proud of that. However, 53% of the ladies from camps have actively engaged with defence careers following our program. So there's huge engagement for whatever reason. It may eventuate or not, but it's been a success to date. So we're pleased with the results, and it's extremely rewarding to be a part of this program. However, there's still work to do. Our program is forever evolving around the world and its needs for the future of STEM. So that's the end of my slides. Sorry, my PowerPoint. But there are 109 careers within the Defence Force, whether it be Army, Navy, Air Force. So there's actually something for everyone. You wouldn't believe that there's that many jobs that exist. And whether we influence the girls on the camp, we've had 3 go on to join the Navy. The Navy has some amazing technical careers. So we've had people go into air traffic control, engineering, and even people working in the mines, but they're all technical and STEM careers. So we've, in some way, shape or form, if we can influence the school leavers, that's all we aim to achieve through our program. So that's about it from me. Open to questions.
So one of the questions that Jenny's just raised is, what are those 5 trades? You talked about the 5 trades. Can you name those for us?
I'll try. Pilot is one of those. Air warfare officer, which is essentially like a navigator. Aircraft technician like myself. And avionics technician. So I'm more mechanical and engines. Avionics is electrical. And the 5th one, I'll have to look back. So those are the trades we target for our STEM. However, at this stage, unfortunately, we're very we're happy to take anyone. Actually, we have a little retention issue, and so people join as any trade, whatever they may. A lot of the students we had last camp were really interested in the medic trade. So we arranged some, extra tuition, a visit, whatnot. And if that's their desire to go on and be a medic in the Army or Air Force, that's fabulous too.
Yeah. And with those camps, is it just one camp a year?
Yes, unfortunately, we're only funded for the one Wahine camp and one teachers camp at this point in time. And the last, sorry, I just remembered the last of those 5 trades was engineer.
Engineer, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't got any more questions in the chat, but there's not that many of us online. So if you just unmute, if you've got any other questions that you would like to ask Stephanie.
Silence.
Hi, this is Jenny from Marist. I've had the privilege of being a teacher on a school disguise camp, and I just have to say it's an amazing experience. And we've had a few students from here go as well. I'm just wondering, for students when they're first applying into the forces, are they encouraged to apply for more than one trade in case they don't get their first choice? And also following on from that, if they, otherwise, could they just go into one, and what are their chances of eventually getting an opportunity to try out for their ultimate preferred choice? Is it still a good idea if you don't get your first choice straight away, but you're interested in being in the forces, to still go into another trade and then hope to get an opportunity to move around later?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, Jenny. What year did you do your camp?
Oh, I was in the fun year, the COVID year, when the students and the girls were all there together, and there was only one. I mean, the teachers, and there was only one flight of teachers, and
yes.
we all had the COVID test outside.
Right.
And then I got COVID a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, so we tried that first with your camp, and then we split it to teachers and students separate. But that was a pilot, that one, and because the teachers camp's so sought after now, we just offer it to the 40 that we can. But to answer your questions, absolutely. When they go through the recruitment process, students will be asked to choose first and second choice in a role, and that's a bit of reality, I suppose. There's numerous reasons why often someone's health, if you want to be a pilot, you have to have great eyesight and other and be in pretty good health. So there can be different reasons for different people to not succeed in their chosen first choice. So that's why they'll be asked to have a second choice. And also, we only take so many pilots per year. So if you join as a ground trade, that's another great idea, because we call it remustering to another trade. You can do that at any point in your career, and you swap trades. So that's you'll find a lot of people have actually done that within their time in the service. So although you might not get your first choice, you can certainly try that later in your career to go for something else.
Great, thanks.
Are there any other questions for Daphne?
We have a lot of the information on recruiting or anything you may need to know a bit more in depth is the Defence Careers website that has all those 109 trades, I believe, that I spoke about. So it will tell you everything you need to know for what medical requirements there are to NCEA requirements and everything in between. and that's got some really good videos and all the information you need. Even tells you what you're going to get paid.
Awesome. Oh, thanks very much, Stephanie. Kirsty's just come up with a question. What is the typical pathway for students from school?
From school, from year 13 school leavers, you register your interest on that Defence Careers website I just spoke about, and that will put you in touch with the recruiting team, Defence Recruiting. The recruiters cover what we call tri-service, which is Army, Navy and Air Force, because if you don't know which service, they will guide you through that process. There might be a specific thing you want to do, and that might be in the Navy, whereas the Army won't have that trade. So they will guide you through it, and you'll be put in touch with a candidate engagement facilitator, and they will start the process off, and you jump through all the hoops and go from there. There's no commitment. You can register your interest. You may think university or something else, and you can do those in parallel, which is great to have all your options. So certainly you're not committed to anything once you push that your registration of interest, but it's merely a door opener, I suppose you could say, to get all the information they want.
And Jenny's got another question. She said, is there any discretion around entry criteria for female and ethnic minority applicants, especially for the targeted trades, like an affirmative action policy? So, not that I'm aware of, no. All the entry criteria is on that website. We used to have years ago age restrictions to join the military. That's gone. There may be different things like, I'm just trying to think of some old ones in the past. Maybe a height restriction for a pilot, a certain pilot, and for safety and whatever else. But as far as I'm aware, there's no real restrictions that I'm aware of. Are there any kind of bridging courses? Like sometimes kids, for some rather reason, maybe don't meet those entry requirements, but they've got a lot of passion, or they've just kind of got their realize what they want to do, and they may not have taken physics or maths or whatever that is important for that trade. Is there any kind of bridging process where they can do something that then they would be able to, that you've got, so that they could make it an entry?
Not really, that we will, that once you engage with the recruiters, we have our minimum entry requirements. So if you don't meet that, there's always the opportunity to go away. Perhaps you skip year 12 physics. You can, while you're in that recruiting process, they may guide you and say, hey, you need to perhaps get year 13, do year 12 or 13 physics or whatever. You can catch up as such and meet those minimum entry requirements, or you could go the other way and join as another trade. And like I said, remuster is certainly an option. That'll give you the opportunity to go for the trade that you really desire. But I wouldn't rule anything out. We have to have a minimum for obvious reasons. It is super competitive, especially for our pilots and aircrew. We only take 10 or 12 or so a year. So, you're thinking you've got to be quite competitive. You've got to be doing well at year 13 to join.
Yeah, I think Jenny's just raised an issue, like sometimes kids choose science, or the website's in science, but they've chosen a science, so they've chosen bio, maybe not chemistry or physics, which is kind of related to what they need there. So sometimes they don't realise that they won't have as the actual right criteria. It's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? We try and tell them, but until they actually find what they want to do, they don't realise that. And so it's this kind of chicken and egg kind of a scenario.
Totally. And that's why we target our year 7 and 8 program, to try and get, who knows what you want to be when you grow up, right? So we do try and influence them to take those subject choices. But I know that, like you say, if you've taken biology, yeah, sure, those science credits, but that's not going to help you fly a plane, possibly. So there is that guidance with the with the recruiters. So they'll see what you've got and guide you in that area. The NCEA is changing, and I don't know much about that, but all the info is on the website as to, you might, I think for my trade, you need 12 credits in English, math, science. So it doesn't specify which science. So you can always, if you've got the minimum, you can get into the service in that trade, and then choose something else once you've had some further education.
Yeah, I mean, it might get a little bit more complex too with this co-requisite, but we won't go into that debate today. But, just with the literacy and numeracy, may be harder for some kids to get until there's that catch-up phase. But that's sort of a conversation that lots of industries are looking at, aren't they? What are they going to do if these kids have got lots of credits, but they don't actually have their literacy and numeracy?
No,
they would need to have that.
That's right. So defence is obviously, aligning ourselves with those new NCEAs, with the new system. Hopefully it's a smooth transition, but the recruiting team are all over that. We don't want to set anyone up to fail. But there's certainly, with 109 different career choices, there is something for everyone at every level.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest thing for us is, working in schools as careers advisors is opening their minds to the possibilities of numerous different careers as opposed to just the ones that they see in front of them. So yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah. Oh well, hopefully, yeah, you can make a trip down to Nelson at some stage, because I'm sure
Nelson.
I can put together a year 7 and 8 program. Which would be fantastic.
Yeah, we'd love to come to Nelson. We have our Air Force Base in Blenheim, near Blenheim at Woodburn.
That's right. And yeah, we could do a bit of a combination, Nigel, couldn't we, with between Nelson and Blenheim and Marlborough. So yeah. So any more questions? I think that's all there. So yeah, thank you so much, Stephanie, for giving up your time, and for everybody who's joined today. I hope that you've got something from that. As always, I will pause the recording soon, and we will pop that up onto the website if you've got any people that you want to share that with. And we've also got Daphne and Heidi and different people who we can refer to if there's any further information you need. So thanks again for that. And yeah, hopefully we see a few more women. I actually thought it would be higher than that, because often when you're flying in New Zealand, there's a female pilot in the pilot thing, but I didn't realize it was as low as 7.4%. So it is low. So yeah.
No, there's still work to do, but we're doing our best, and women are very capable. Let me just say that, absolutely, in all of those trades.
Yeah, and it is. I think our next one on the 9th of April is around women in engineering again, and it's just this. You sometimes wonder if it's a genetic thing, and we were talking with another group previously about boys and nursing and teaching and things. There's this trying to change that stereotypical path for that's gender related is challenging.
Yeah, and I think role modelling is an important part of what we do. So, I mean, you can read websites and information and whatnot, but if you see it, you can believe it, So we're out there in this uniform, in the community, at all those events I told you about, and they realise, even the girls coming to camp, they realise they can do it. And it's not all that bad. So that's really good. So we can influence them by just being there and turning up.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thanks very much, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Right. So, yeah, fantastic to see you. Okay.
Thanks for
Thank you.
me. Bye.